to front. Good landing. Everything else. Everything else. Perfect 10 on this event. She scored 7 perfect 10 total.
I think anybody's done a more perfect 10 than I've seen.
We are just trying to get the baseline, and I'd say the baseline is pretty solid from what we've seen on the first 2 events.
Sierra Ballard led off balance beam in every meet in 2023 and frequently in 2024, as well as on floor exercise, just icing her veins.
She was an All-American on this event last year. Man, she is typically so solid on this event, but I saw her eyes drop to the floor, and usually where you look is where you go. LSU finished ranked 3rd on this event. Nice front toss. Sometimes the mistakes you see from seniors or 5th years are because they want it so much on their last and final year. Everything else looked solid.
Interesting, is a great leadoff. However, last year, we'll let you talk about this first, Sam.
That handspring layout, you could see she was crooked. Didn't quite right by her ears when she went for that layout, step out, and then she looked down. Sometimes one little mistake on beam puts the whole rest of the skill off balance.
Flag, I didn't. That doesn't mean they didn't put one up or they didn't take that deduction, but very close. Amari Drayton, now the sophomore on balance beam, follows Sierra Ballard's 9.25. We saw Iowa State have a mistake early in the bar rotation. Now LSU with a mistake early in beam. Beam, an event, I always say the meet doesn't start till you get to beam. How does the rest of the lineup handle following a mistake? Certainly a huge cushion for LSU, but still, nonetheless, a little bit of a test here.
A little bit more pressure, like John said, but Amari has been looking so solid, and in my opinion, been a little bit overshadowed. She's only a sophomore, but did great things last year. Looks really dynamic at the preview. I think this year we're gonna hear her name a lot more. Career high is 9.925 on this event. Chest down on that dismount. You want to get your chest vertical when the feet hit the ground so it's easier to stick.
But I think in those situations, I like to call it stop the bleeding. You had a mistake early on in that lineup. The next person has to get a hit and get those hits start to be contagious for the rest of that road.
Settings, there's nothing that can replace an environment like this. You can do the amount of pressure routines as possible, but you really never know what these athletes are going to do when the yellow flag goes up.
Now Kaylin Chio, the freshman, on her 3rd event, follows Amari Drayton 9.675. So again, not getting threatened from Iowa State, but 2 scores if you're on the meter of LSU. Those are low scores for them.
Kaylin has looked amazing in training. She's come in to LSU healthy and done a really good job filling the gaps. Some of the other athletes that graduated. Kaya Johnson, Savannah Shane-Hare, big names in these lineups. Head coach Jay Clark said, The one thing I ask her to do, though, is to give herself some grace. She's such a perfectionist, gets disappointed if things don't go perfectly. But you also have to think that mindset is helping her train this beam routine at a high level. This is looking phenomenal. I don't know what you take there. She's only their third athlete up, extremely clean gymnastics. She really floats down on the beam. The judges are gonna like that style.
I'm just gonna say the rich get richer, Sam. I mean, all this attention, we have national team, we have Olympic team, we have Olympians on this LSU Tiger team, and then maybe the resume that maybe jumps out the least, and I say that in a complimentary way. Caitlin Chio, a 9.925 for the freshman, and that'll get things on track for the Tigers. As now senior Olivia Dunn. Oh, and look who's here to watch his girlfriend, Paul Skeens, the NL Rookie of the Year. That's not a bad start.
Not a bad start.
Caitlin Chio's trying to one-up him in her debut, but Paul Skeens in the house.
This is her collegiate debut as a 5th year. Coaches say that she looks as good as she's ever looked and ready to go in on 3 events.
Debut on this event. Correct, Sam. Obviously, she's competed elsewhere for the Tigers.
Last year, she was in the bar lineup frequently. But as an elite athlete, I always remember her looking so strong and beautiful on beam and floor. So I'm looking forward to seeing her on these 2 events this season. Gainer off the front, good landing. That's a beam routine they're going to be able to count on throughout this season.
And I don't think she could expect a whole lot more from her balance beam debut as an LSU Tiger. Obviously a fan favorite here as well.
That double pike.
Sophomore Connor McLean now takes to the balance beam. Olivia Dunn, a 9.825. Connor has been perfect on this event. I'll have to say there's a lot of 10s in women's gymnastics, but I don't think anybody's done a more perfect 10 than I've seen Connor McLean on this event.
Yeah, she just milks every single skill. It's textbook. Starting with these leaps, you want to be 180, and she goes beyond that. Became the SEC beam champion last year. Not to mention, she got 3rd place on beam behind Simone Biles and Sunisa Lee just last year at Classics.
And that was the last time we all saw Connor McLean compete, and that was the meet she tore her Achilles, and we've all been wondering, what can we expect? We've been told that she looks good, looks great. Well, so far, pretty impressive.
Back, a new Achilles that she's sporting here tonight, and she looks mentally tough on bars and beam, and she looks strong as ever.
Gets a hug from Ashley Nat right there in the foreground, and certainly senior Olympian Aaliyah Finnegan anchors this beam rotation. 9.825, so a pair of 9.825s here for LSU as they head into this 6th and final routine. Again, trying to erase that 9.25, that lead-off score. With a hit here, they certainly will be able to drop that.
Aaliyah has also scored a perfect 10 on this event. She scored 7 perfect 10 total, but absolutely crushes that difficult triple series.
And that is a series that last season gave her a little trouble off and on, but that was the series she did. The last routine at the NCAAs, when she completed that series, it was like, okay, they got it. And they certainly did, and that one right there looked as good as any she's done.
Well, there can't ever be more pressure than there was at the NCAA championships when she had to hit this routine in order to become the national champions.
You talk about the pressure of an entire program, a half century of coming close but not getting it done, and it came down on her shoulders, and man, she delivered big time.
Well, this is child's play for her. She comes in strong, continues to show that growth and maturity.